There's a new Indian chief. His people come to him and they ask him, "Hey, chief, what's the weather going to be like this winter? Is it going to be a cold winter?" The chief, not being familiar with the old ways, thought to himself, "Well, just to be safe, let me tell the people, go collect firewood." A couple of days goes by and the chief is thinking to himself, I could call the weather service and ask them what the winter's going to be like, and then I'll know. So he does. He calls the weather service and he asks the weatherman, "What's the winter going to be like this year? Is it going to be cold?" And the weatherman says, "Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it's going to be a cold winter." The chief says, "Thank you," and hangs up. And then he calls in his people and he says, "It's going to be a cold winter. Go and gather more firewood." A couple of days later, the chief, being unsure of himself, thinks he should call the weather service again. So he calls the weather service again, and he asks the weatherman, "Are you sure that it's going to be a cold winter?" And the weatherman says, "Absolutely, sir. It is going to be a very cold winter." Chief says, "Thank you." He hangs up and he calls his people again. And he tells them, "Go out and gather a lot of firewood, because it's going to be a cold, cold winter." A couple days later, Chief, being curious, calls the weather service again. He gets the weatherman on the phone, and he says to the weatherman, "Mr. Weatherman, how do you know that it's going to be cold this winter?" And the weatherman says, "Well, sir, the Indians are gathering firewood like there's no tomorrow, so we know it's going to be a cold, cold winter." Apply that joke to the current pandemic. Think about it. Y'all be safe.